Are you a traveller at heart, or do you like a more settled existence? The man you're about to meet, David Woodier, just can't get enough of the world around him. You might call him a lifelong backpacker. So when he was looking for his purpose in life, he only had to ask himself what he loved doing most. David, this week's Meet the Listener guest and Life Matters 500 Facebook fan, is making it his mission to pass on what he's learned along the way to other travellers, and he's with me in the studio now. Welcome to Life Matters.
Thank you.
How many countries have you visited or lived in, do you think?
I've just recently hit 30. I went to Turkey recently on a random wedding that I was invited to.
Wow. And where are you from? Where were you born?
My father's actually Chinese, my mother's Swiss and Scottish. So I grew up in Hong Kong and then lived on an island in Scotland before moving down to just north of London for 15 years.
Right. So you're one of those almost third culture kid, which we've had on the show in the past. So you said I went to Turkey for a random wedding. Are you inclined to make fairly spontaneous decisions when it comes to travel?
Absolutely. That example, my friend emailed me on the Sunday to say, would I like to come to his wedding next Saturday in Turkey? On the Monday, I made the decision, and on Tuesday, I was in the air flying up to Turkey.
Right.
So that was very spontaneous, but everything just coincided that I could make it, so I did.
Wow. Because you'd expect a bit more notice than that, wouldn't you?
Yes, but it's just the kind of man he is.
All right. And so coming to Australia, was that a spontaneous decision too?
I'd actually been working for management consultants for about 2 years, and I realised that there was more to life than that. So I packed up my bags, moved to New Zealand for a year, because it was the furthest place away from the UK I could get, not on ice. Spent a year in New Zealand and then a year and a half in Australia. I absolutely loved it.
Right. So, but then you went back to the UK, did you? Or?
Yes, I went back. I started a sort of a personal development thing there over in the UK. But then after 2 years, I was sitting in a rainy flat in Manchester one night and decided that what was I doing in the country I didn't want to be in. So I moved to Australia.
Right, just like that.
Yeah.
You're making it sound very easy.
It was the decision.
Yes.
I like the concept of decisions like the incision to cut off. So I cut off the possibility of staying there and just left.
And you live in Brisbane, don't you?
Yes.
Why choose Brisbane?
The biggest city in my favourite country and my favourite climate.
Right, you like it hot.
Yes.
Right, okay. And when you got here, though, you were in a bit of financial strife. Was that a fair assessment?
Yes. When I made that decision back in Manchester, I was actually about $65,000 in debt.
Whoa.
I had no visa for Australia, nothing, but I just made the decision that that's what was right for me. And then actually over the next about 6 years it took me I got up to about $85,000 in debt and then ended up paying that all off and pursuing my purpose.
Right. So it was about finding your purpose, as you put it. What did you ask yourself when you were trying to work out what you wanted to do?
I believe that with purpose, it's about things being in flow and things feeling very natural. So I just looked at what I really enjoyed doing, and I'm a hippie in my heart, and a traveller in my heart. So it seemed very natural that I wanted to work with people of that nature. And I know that when I was travelling, I always looked for what my purpose was. So now that I've learned how to do that for myself, then it became natural to think, well, how can I help other people I care about, like backpackers, find their purpose?
Right, okay. And what is your purpose?
My purpose in life, it has my sort of a hangover from my hippie side. So
Yes.
the purpose of my life is to spread colourful joy, love and happiness wherever I go, for myself and others, whilst being an inspirational leader, helping cultivate the seeds of greatness in us all.
Crikey.
Yeah.
Have you got that on a card, or?
I do.
You do?
Yeah.
All right. So that's all very well, saying, well, that's my purpose. But how do you use the purpose to make across?
Well, what I do, what I've recently actually started to do is move into the internet field, so with productizing. So
Productizing. What's productizing?
So taking what's in your head, what's on your hard drive, and turning it into information products. So CDs, DVDs, online courses, blogging, all those kinds of things.
Right. So what, like not personal coaching, but a kind of guide to life, your philosophy, if you like.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
So the way I make money from it is to start with give people something for free, and then something that's quite cheap, so they can actually see if they're in the market for what I want to provide, and then move them through the process. And as in the future, I'll be running workshops and doing wonderful things like the sort of Tony Robbinses and the big personal development trainers, but targeting the backpackers.
Right, the backpackers.
Yeah.
Do you think they've got the cash for this? Because they're normally, in a place for a long time, but spending as little as possible.
Yes.
And a big proportion of that is on alcohol.
Well, exactly, and that's the point. If you can find a strong enough reason, they certainly have cash, but they're spending it on different things.
Mm.
So I have to, first of all, illustrate to them how they can actually use what I'm offering them to make money, which is what they want. I love the concept of sell them what they want, give them what they need. So I'll teach them how to make money, how to travel effectively, how to cut costs, things like that. But then on the back end, I say, now if you want to find your purpose and actually make money from that, this is how you can do it. And that's the part that I would charge for.
On Life Matters today, our Meet the Listener guest is David Woodier, who's a backpacker with a purpose, and the 500th Facebook fan on Life Matters. So the 1000th Facebook fan, there probably isn't something before Christmas, you too. Then that was Meet the Listener. Let me urge you to join if Facebook is your thing. Now, backpacker's dream, backpacker tactics. What are these?
Well, Backpacker's Dream is my vision. What it is I'd like to have 28 backpackers hostels around the world where there'll be a cross between Hotel California, the beach, the concept of the beach, and sort of a rainforest retreat. So people will come to the backpackers.
That sounds like something a backpacker couldn't afford.
Again, they need to be, well, actually on the application to come to some of these things, I actually have a space for the credit card details of their parents.
Oh, right.
Because I know that the parents are possibly the ones who are going to pay and actually would be motivated to pay. To help their children find their purpose.
Right.
So, yeah, so at the Backpacker's Dream, what will happen is people, in the morning, I'll teach them something. Initially, it would be me teaching them something like, say, the 6 human needs, or the 5 love languages, or masculine and feminine energy, or finding a purpose, things like that. And then I'd get them to go away onto the property and maybe do some woodwork, or painting, or something artistic or musical, and actually talk about what they learnt in the morning. And then in the evening, get them back together, and for about an hour, just direct the conversation to find out what they actually learned. Because I feel that when I'm teaching, there's only a certain amount they're getting. It's when they're talking and sharing their experiences, they'll decide whether what I'm actually saying is true.
You're after a very well-heeled backpacker, I think, because the backpackers I've met over the years, back to the days when I was one, actually, you're there for a good time, not a long time, and you're focused on working, getting a job, doing something that's probably not much fun, but brings the rent in, and spending a lot of money on alcohol and going out with people who you find attractive.
Yeah, so I know when I've been running my workshops in Brisbane, free beer is one of my advertising slogans. Yeah.
So what sort of tips do you provide fellow travellers? I mean, what about packing? Because packing is something that backpackers have to do all the time.
Yeah, so there's a really simple guide to that. Is put everything on your bed that you want to take away, including your money, and then half the amount of stuff you're taking and double the amount of money.
If only it was that easy. You have a section on your site, I think, called Ninja Backpacker Tactics, to get free stuff, and another to kind of make and save money. What are some of the ways?
Some things they're a little bit sneaky, but some things which can work is, for example, people who want to either, say, use a spa or a gym, go and just get a free membership just to try out a gym. But if you're only in a place for a short amount of time, you can sort of jump around different gyms and get that. And potentially, if you did stay, obviously you would become a client for them, or potentially a client.
Do you think that they don't know this now, though, the backpackers? Because I can remember finding the places where you could get, all you could eat pasta and pizza deals for £4 or whatever it was a long time ago, and where the happy hours were, and if you got it right, you could move from happy hour to happy hour.
Yes, absolutely. I just believe that I know I just stayed at the youth hostel at Central in Sydney last night. Fantastic place, amazing resources there. But I think we get stuck, even as a backpacker, we get stuck in certain grinds, shall we say, or certain tracks, and so we'll see similar things. So the backpacker market is very wide, so if I can transfer the information from some people to others, then that's very useful. One
of the things that's really emerged in the past few years is that it's not just about a one-way flow of information these days. The whole social media thing is contributory. Do you see that as part of what you're going to do too?
Absolutely. Value and interaction. So I offer them value by things, for example, like couchsurfing.org is a website which, if you look at it today, I think there's probably 12,000 people in Australia offering free accommodation to backpackers. So I give them value and then interact with them through the website. So actually answer questions they have and have that interaction.
Right, okay. Well, good luck with it. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Getting on a plane to come down and do this, actually.
Oh, it's been my pleasure.
All right, that's David Woodier. He's our Meet the Listener guest this week. Our final Meet the Listener guest for the year, and the 500th Facebook fan on the Life Matters Facebook page. We'll put a link to Backpacker Tactics on our website. Of course, that's at abc.net.au/rn/lifematters.